Welcome all of you to this class. Let us do the verses 15 and 16 from chapter number 2. Yam hina vyatayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somrutavyaya kalpate. Yam hina vyatayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somrutatvaya kalpate. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress is said, is steady in both, is certainly eligible for liberation. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha, ubhayorapi drishtontastva anayostattva darshibihi. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Let's try to understand this. We'll start with the first verse here, chapter number 2, verse number 15. Here Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Purusharshaba. Purusharshaba means best among men. So he's addressing Arjuna and saying, you're the best among the men, and he's instructing, he's giving an instruction. And what is that instruction? He's saying a person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress is eligible for liberation. So this is the eligibility for liberation is one must be not disturbed by happiness or distress. So what happens is when we become too distressed or disturbed by happiness or sadness, then that is exactly the opposite of yoga system. So the yoga system is equanimity. Yogaha samatvam yogam uchyate. So equanimity is yoga system, equilibrium, maintaining the equilibrium, not becoming too happy or not becoming too sad, not lamenting too much. That is the yoga system. So the ultimate goal is that we come to the stage of Brahmabhuta stage. Brahmabhuta stage means nashochati na kankshati. That is, no more lamentation about the past, nor worry about the future. So coming to such a state of mind is called Brahmabhuta stage. So that is the Brahmabhuta liberation, impersonal liberation state. Beyond that state is the state of devotional service. So when we become impersonally liberated, then the next stage is that we get the pure love of Godhead. But actually, Srila Prabhupada says, if you get love of Godhead, liberation is included in it. So when you get the pure love for Krishna, liberation, you are already liberated. Only those people who are liberated can get pure love of Krishna. So as people advance in the stage of spiritual realization, they will be able to tolerate the difficulties, distresses, happinesses that are coming on their way. So such people are eligible for liberation. So you see, in the Varnashrama system has been designed exactly in line with Bhagavad-gītā. So this Varnashrama system, the 4 Varnas and 4 Ashrama system has been designed in it's a spiritual culture. So whatever we are following, when we say Hindu, it's not a Hindu dharma, it is Varnashrama dharma. That is what we are following. So as per the Varna Ashrama dharma, there are 4 stages of life. And the 4 stages of life are Brahmacharya, that is the first stage, first 25 years. Next stage is Grihastha, married life. Next stage is the Vanaprastha, that is the forest dweller. And then the next stage is Sannyasa, that is complete renunciation. So for example, Brahmacharya stage, you see, the student goes to the Gurukula. In the householder state, somebody gets married. You see, the forest right? Vanaprastha, those people who go to the forest, renouncing to the forest. So that is the example that we can see is the king Dhritarashtra had renounced to the forest. So that is Vanaprastha. And sannyasa is like Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas, or Srila Prabhupada, he took sannyas. So this is like the renounced order. Actually, sannyasa is a very painstaking situation. Why is it painstaking? The difficulty is that they have to cut off all the relationships, all the family relationships, cut off the relationship with the wife and children. So Srila Prabhupada had a family and he had to cut off all these relationships. And it is a painstaking situation for anybody, right? So, but anyone who is serious about making his life perfect, anybody who is very serious about becoming perfect in attaining perfection in the life, they adopt the sannyasa order of life in spite of all the difficulties. So that's why it is said, Pancha Swardvam Vanam Vrajet. That means beyond the age of 50, one must go to the forest. So that's the instruction of the Shastras. The first 25 years is for Brahmacharya, 25 to 50 is Grihastha, 50 to 75. As you're crossing 50, 50 to 75 must be in a detached state. So go to the forest. Prabhupada says instead of going to the forest, you can go to the temple. You can go to the you can go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is recommended instead of going to the forest. So then, beyond the age of 75, one must take sannyasa. One must completely renounce. So that's what is the instructions of the Shastras. So the difficulty is to cut off the relationship with wife and children. But if somebody is able to tolerate such difficulties, then the path to the spiritual realization becomes perfect. It becomes complete. It's not a guarantee that you'll become realized, but the situation becomes very much favorable for spiritual realization. So here Arjuna, he's not a vanaprastha, he's not a sannyasi, he is a grihastha, but while acting as a grihastha, he was advised to continue fighting. Even though there is a difficulty fighting with the family members or beloved people, whoever it may be, he said he was asked to discharge his duties because he's a grihastha. He's supposed to follow the dharma, follow the varnashrama dharma, whether he likes it or not. So you see, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took sannyasa at the age of 24. Okay, and then he had his dependents also, right? He had his young wife and an old mother, right? And they had no one to look after them also. But still he took sannyasa for a higher cause, for a higher cause. So this is a discharge of the higher duties. So beyond the material world. So a lot of times people criticize and say, oh, this is not dharma, that why did he leave the family? He should not have left the family, right? See, we have to understand this, that we are looking at it from a material point of view. We are looking at it from a material point of view. But from spiritual vision, whatever he did was perfect, and it is actually very instructive also. It's for a higher cause he took sannyasa, for discharging the higher duties. The higher duties are for spiritual realization, that we must strive for self-realization. You see, King Bharat Maharaj, when he was quite young itself, he went to the forest. And the reason why he went to the forest was because he did not want to lose the opportunity of the human being. Being born as a human being is a great opportunity, and he wanted to make the best of use of this opportunity to go back to Godhead. We also see in Ramayana, see Dasharath Maharaj, he saw that there was so much white hair that was coming inside. There was so many white hair that were on his head. And then when he saw that, he thought that now it is time for me to be spiritually oriented. So let me hand over the kingdom to my son, Lord Ramchandra, and then go to the forest. That was his plan. But before that, all the dramatic events took place and he could not execute his plan. And you see, Dasharath Maharaj, even before he could execute his plan, the fate has its way, and then Lord Ramchandra was banished and he left his body very soon afterwards. So that's an indicator, right? So as for spiritual realization, we have to work towards spiritual realization, and this is a spiritual culture, and it becomes favorable. So when we take a renounced life, okay? So that's the point here. Let's go to the next verse here. So the next verse here is being said here that नासतो विद्यते भावो ना भावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तस्त्व अनन्योस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. You see, the word that has been used here is tattva darshibihi. Darshana means to see. Tattva means the truth. That is a conclusive truth. So these, the seers of the truth, those people who have seen the truth, right? They have, what did they see? They have seen and they have concluded and they studied the nature of two things. Na asato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sataha. Asat and Sat. What is Asat and what is Sat? That is what they have studied. And here, Krishna is rebuking Arjuna. He's saying that, see, the seers of the truth have seen it, but you have spoken like a great scholar, right? Arjuna spoke like a very wonderful scholar. He said, you know, the reason why I don't want to fight is because 1, 2, 3, 4. He starts sharing so many quotes and he says, I have heard from the authorities that those people who do not, who give up their family traditions, and they go to hell, the community projects get destroyed, the women gets polluted, everybody goes to hell. He said so many things. But then Krishna is saying, you said so many things. But whatever you have seen, whatever your conclusion is not matching that of the seers of the truth. So indirectly he's rebuking him. He's saying you're not very intelligent because your conclusion was not very intelligent, whatever you said. Right? So that's the thing here. So the body and the soul, Sat and Asat. Sat is eternal. Asat is the temporary. You see, temporary and the permanent. The body is changing. There are 6 transformations of the body. The 6 transformations of the body are birth, and then it remains like that for some time, and then it grows, and then it has some side effects, and then it dwindles, and then it vanishes. You see, just see our body, or just take any body, any physical body. Take the body of a tree, take the body of an animal, or a dog, or a cat. First thing is birth. It was not there before. It came. That's a birth. Next, it will stay there for some time in the womb of the mother. And then it will start growing. It may be a bird. It grows to an adult stage. Or maybe it may be a dog. Or it may be a human being or an elephant. Grows to the adult stage. And then what happens? Produces side effects. Produces side effects. Maybe it will have some children. Produces side effects. And then it starts to dwindle. As the age progresses, it starts to dwindle, isn't it? So, and afterwards, what happens? The body will vanish. The body will not be there. So that is, see, our equation is, we do everything in our life with our body in the center. We are thinking that the body is permanent. And all our life, all our plans, we are in love with our body. And we are trying to make this body more and more comfortable, more and more happy. But we have to understand that these 6 transformations of the body are inevitable. We cannot escape these 6 transformations of the body. This is naturally happening, whether we want it or not. So that's the reason why we should know spirituality, so that we know what is the future. You see, we are inside this body and the body is naturally aging. I mean, we did not even know. I mean, like 20 years back, the body was different. Maybe 40 years back, the body was different. And the body is continuously aging, whether we like it or not like it. So Bhagavad-gītā is a manual of life, giving us knowledge just to tell us what to expect in future, what is happening with our body, and how are we supposed to react to this, how we are supposed to be preparing for liberation, self-realization. So this is the most important goal of life, because the body, it will undergo the 6 transformations. There is birth and there is death. So that's the changes. So the body is changing, right? You see, even if you see the modern science, they say that the cells are changing. It is said that after maybe a year or so, all the cells of the body would have changed. So if all the cells of the body have changed, then how am I saying that I am the same person? Then I am a different person, isn't it? If everything has changed, then what? How am I the same person? So I'm the same person because the soul is the same. The soul remains the same during the changes of the body, and after the body left, after the body even dies, even then, the soul is the same. So that's the difference between Sat and Asat. You see, the material scientists, they are looking at the transformations of this material nature, how to use the material nature in the favor of making our life comfortable. That is their point of view. But spiritual scientists, right, these spiritual seers of the truth, they are looking at the Sat and Asat, that is the soul and the body. So beyond the body, there is a soul. And what is the proof that there is a soul? The proof exists in the very fact that when the body is changing from childhood to youth to old age, the person is the same. Right? What did Krishna say in Bhagavad-gītā? Krishna says that Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna says that as the embodied soul moves from Kaumara, Yavvana, Jara, Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara, Tata Dehantara Prapti, Dehinosmin Yatha Dehe, Kaumaram, Yavvanam, Jara, Tata Dehantara Prapti, Dhiras Tatra na Muhyati. That is, the soul is remaining the same. Childhood, the body was very small. Just remember, when you were very small child, what is the earliest memory that you had? You are not able to even reach the door, to open the door also, isn't it? And then we got the youth body, then becomes the old body, right? And after that, what happens? Tata dehantara prapti, change of body. Body is changing. Dhiras tatra na muhyati. So a sober man is not bewildered by such a change. So that means the soul is the same, just like a dress, right? We change the dress. So a dress, if it gets torn, what do? We remove the dress and we wear a new dress, right? As the embodied soul grows, we change the body, just like how we change the garments when the garment becomes old and unusable. So this is the proof of the soul. And the proof of the soul is consciousness. We are feeling conscious. As long as we are feeling consciousness, the symptom of the soul is consciousness. So this is what is happening. So the spirit soul exists permanently. Our existence is permanent. We are simply changing bodies. And then whatever the changes happen to the body and the mind, the spirit soul remains the same. This is the difference between the matter and spirit. So this is called the difference between Atma and Anatma, or Sat and Asat, or the matter and the spirit. This is the difference. This is the basic difference that we have to differentiate. And once we differentiate, first basic difference to understand is that we have a spiritual nature. And once we understand that, we further understand the difference between our nature and the nature of God. We are all part and parcel of Krishna. So that is a finer understanding. First level of understanding is to understand that we are not the part of this material world. That is, we are not matter. I am not a matter. I am the spirit soul. That is what is Aham Brahmasmi. Even Tattvamasi indicates the same thing. It is indicating the individual soul. It is not indicating the super soul. Tattvamasi does not say that I am the super soul. It just says that I am the individual Brahman. And this is like the second level of understanding. There are two birds. In the Upanishad, it is said, Mundaka Upanishad, it is said that there are two birds on the tree. One bird is eating the fruit. Another bird is witnessing. And the bird is eating the fruit, and sometimes the fruit is bitter, sometimes the fruit is sweet. And the second bird is jumping from one branch to another branch. But the first bird, it doesn't jump like that. What do we understand from this? See, we are also eating the fruits of our actions. And we have turned our face away from Super Soul, from Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, the Super Soul, is the second witness bird. Upadrishta Anumanta. That is, he is the witness. Upadrishta. So he is just witnessing. He is not eating the fruits of the activities. We are eating our fruits of activities. And the moment we turn towards Krishna and offer our fruits of activities, offer the fruit to Krishna, the moment this bird turns to the second bird, offers the fruit to the first bird, then it will stop. It's jumping from one branch to another. We are jumping from one body to another. So this is like the finer understanding between the whole and the part and parcel. So we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So first we understand Atma Tattva, and then we understand Paramatma, and then we understand Bhagavan. First we understand Brahman and Paramatma and Bhagavan. These are the three levels of understanding of the spiritual truth. So it has been explained in the Vedanta Sutras and Srimad Bhagavatam that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the origin of all the emanations, the origin of the spirit soul, the origin of the body. Both of them, the origin is Krishna. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Sat, Asat, matter, spirit. The origin of both of them is Lord Sri Krishna. The material nature is also coming from Krishna. Spiritual nature, living entity is also coming from Krishna. So both of them are energies of Krishna. One is a superior energy, one is an inferior energy. So the material energy, material nature is the inferior energy. And the living entity, the individual Brahman, is the superior energy. So all the living entities are individual. They are multiple. And Krishna is an individual. So what happened is, because we do not understand this, there is the impersonalists have established that there is no difference between the individual Brahman and the Supreme Brahman. So that is the kind of a misinformation that has been spread. So the misinformation is to think that individual Brahman, the individual soul, is same as the Supreme Soul. This is like the argument trying to say that both the birds are the same. The bird number one, which is eating the fruit, and the bird, which is the witness, both are the same. No, that's not the case. I told you the clear difference. The bird number one is a witness. The second bird is in ignorance. The second bird is eating the fruits. The second bird is affected by Maya, by material nature. The individual Brahman or individual soul is affected by Maya, by material nature. We fall down, Chuta. Krishna is Achyuta. He does not fall down. He is always in his position. Whatever he may be doing, he is always in his position. He always remembers his position. Krishna also says the same thing to Arjuna. There have been many births you and I have taken. I remember all my births, but you do not. And the reason why Krishna takes birth is not because of karma. We take birth because of our karma. And this process of chanting the names of Krishna is for purifying ourselves so that we become liberated and attain the nature of Krishna. That is eternal nature. Krishna, he does not need to chant his names or do any kind of spiritual process to become liberated, because he is ever liberated. If he was not liberated, then what is the point of Krishna delivering the message to Arjuna? Krishna is the supreme liberated. He is the source of liberation. His name is Mukunda. He is not a conditioned soul. Mukunda means Mukti Data iti Mukunda. He is the giver of liberation. He does not require liberation. Mukunda does not require liberation. Achyuta means infallible. The infallible one never falls down. Aja means a person who never takes birth. Aja, he never takes birth due to karma. The karma does not affect him. So this is the difference between the energy and the energetic. There is one which is maintaining the plural. So we should not fall prey to this impersonal theory that there is only one. No, there are many. One to many. There is one moon and many stars in the sky. Similarly, there is one Krishna, and all the stars can be compared to that of the individual living entities. If every living entity was the same, then everybody's karma, how is it different? How do you explain that one person is suffering, one person is enjoying? Individuals are there. Every living entity is an individual. It has got their separate karma. And all of them have a relationship with the Supreme Lord. Everybody is part and parcel of Krishna. This is the Achintya Bheda, Abheda Tattva. That is inconceivable oneness and difference. Because we are all energies of Krishna. The Shruti Shastra is saying, Eko Bahunam Vidadhati Kaman. Eko Bahunam Vidadhati Kaman. Eko means singular. Bahunam means plural. Means one singular is maintaining the plural. There is one Supreme who is maintaining all the plural living entities. The living entities are not Supreme Brahman. They are only Brahman. They are not Achyuta. They are fallible. They are susceptible to Maya, just like how we are susceptible to Maya. The Supreme Soul is the Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman. Krishna is the Parabrahma, Parandhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhava. That is Krishna. And from Krishna, all the universes emanate from Krishna. All of them are maintained by Krishna. All the universes enter into Krishna. But the individual soul, Brahman, the universes do not emanate from our soul. The universes are not maintained by us. We are not able to even maintain ourselves and our family. That is our position. And the universes do not come into us. So this is a very simple difference. This is the difference between the energy and the energetic. The energetic Shaktiman and the Shakti. Energetic is supreme. Just like electrical energy, if you see, electrical energy has a source. There is some place where the electrical engineer is managing that energy. There is somebody who is managing the energy, isn't it? Without managing the energy, it becomes difficult. There must be energetic also, the source of the energy. For example, sunlight and the sun. The sun is the source of sunlight. So you cannot, sunlight and sun are the same in a one way, but you cannot say that sunlight is same as the sun, because sun is the source. So sun is the source of all the infinite rays that are coming from the sun. Similarly, if we consider ourselves as a ray, there are infinite living entities in this universe. And everybody has got their own cycle of birth and death. Everybody has got their own karma. Everybody has got their own mentality. Everybody has got their own fate. Each of us have our own path that is there. And the Supreme Lord Krishna is giving guidance to everybody. He's feeding everybody. He's maintaining everybody. Right? He's giving us knowledge. So he is giving us knowledge. So we are supposed to take knowledge. He's the guru. We are the disciple. Krishna is the Chaitya Guru. We are disciple. So we should not confuse our position. right? Srila Prabhupada says this example that Purusha means the enjoyer. Prakriti means enjoyed. Purusha means enjoyer. It's a masculine. I mean, in a symbolic way, it's masculine. Feminine is a Prakriti, enjoyed. The impersonalists, they have reversed it. They have created a theory saying that Purusha is under the influence of Maya, that is feminine. So that means they are trying to say that Maya is more powerful than the Supreme Lord. That Supreme Lord or the Supreme Brahman is affected by Maya. If the Supreme Brahman is affected by Maya, then what is the hope for us? If Krishna is affected by Maya, what is the hope for an individual living entity? There is no hope. That means it's a hopeless situation that they're saying. So Prabhupada says, just because a lady is wearing the dress of a man, she doesn't become a man. Similarly, just because you try to show that material nature or Maya is more powerful than the Supreme Lord, it is not possible. That, I mean, you cannot just say that that material nature is more powerful than the Supreme Lord. Just like the sun, from the sun, the heat of the sun, the clouds come. Okay, the clouds are coming. The reason for the origin of these clouds is because of the sun. And these clouds cannot cover sun because they are coming from the sun. Yes, they can cover to some extent. Maybe in your street or in your city, there is a little bit of clouds. Or maybe on the earth, there are some clouds. But the clouds cannot cover the entire sun because sun is much more powerful than the clouds. Similarly, Maya can delude us. We are like the rays of the sun, right? We can be deluded by Maya. Maybe some rays can be blocked by the clouds. But the Supreme Lord is like the sun. He cannot be blocked. So this is what we have to understand. So this is called as clear knowledge. This is called as the Bhagavad Tattva. That means if you understand the Tattva of Bhagavan, you understand even the individual self also. Just like if there is no light in the house, if you switch on the light, that means if you have a big source of light, once you have the source of light, then what happens is you are able to see everything around you and you are able to see yourself also. So that means knowledge of the self is included in the knowledge of God. This is Bhagavad Tattva. So what we are learning here in the Krishna consciousness movement is Bhagavad Tattva. Brahma Tattva, Paramatma Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva. Bhagavad Tattva, if you learn, you will also understand the Paramatma Tattva, localized super soul. You will also understand Brahma Tattva. That is about the individual soul also. Just like if you switch on the light, you can also see yourself and everything around you. This is called clear knowledge, perfect knowledge. So in this knowledge, you understand everything. You understand everything that you're supposed to be knowing, you will understand. So but simply by understanding who is Krishna, who am I, by reading this Bhagavad-gītā, we can understand all of that. Who am I? Who is Krishna? What is my relationship with Krishna? How do I revive this relationship? Now that I know that I am part and parcel of Krishna, I am spiritual in nature, I am not material, what am I supposed to do? Is it that I should stop working and do nothing? That I have nothing to do with the Supreme Lord? No, that's not that case. So the moment we hear this Mayavada Bhashya, we become deluded. It's very dangerous. Okay, that what will happen is we will not be able to become devotional. See, that is the devotional service will be gone. That is, if you falsely think that you are the Supreme, then how do you feel like serving the Supreme? See, Arjuna is able to serve Krishna because Krishna showed him the universal form. And Krishna said, I am the Supreme Lord. And he said, just follow my instructions. And Arjuna said, yes, I will follow your instructions. Karishye vachanam tava. But if we give a false information saying that Arjuna, you are same as Krishna, there is no difference. Then why should Arjuna follow Krishna? Why should he serve Krishna? So this is a very dangerous philosophy. Be careful about that. That's what Prabhupada wants us in all of his purports. That we should be careful not to read the impersonal bhashya, impersonal commentaries we should not hear, because it will spoil our devotional service. the fine feelings that we have for Lord, that will be gone. We won't feel like serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the moment we stop devotional service, we are completely fallen. So this is a very dangerous trap. So in spirituality also, we should be very careful that we understand everything. Who am I? I am the spirit soul, Sat. Right? And then what is the body? Asat, temporary changing. And the conclusion of today's class is that one must learn to tolerate happiness, sadness, and then we become eligible for liberation. That's the eligibility for liberation. Don't be too happy when you get some happiness. Don't be too sad when you're unhappy. Just try to tolerate. So this is the practice. All right. Second thing is we have to understand the difference between the Sat and Asat. That the Sat, we are not the body. We are the soul. And then beyond the soul, there is the super soul, who is Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna. We have to serve Lord Krishna. So that should be our aim. We should become servants of Lord Krishna. Servant of God. To become servant of God is not to become a servant. Don't take it wrongly. In the material world, when you say word servant, I don't want to be a servant. I want to be a master. But in the spiritual world, that's not the case. The master and the servant is better than the master. So it's a different equation altogether. And the servant of the servant of the servant is better. It's not that servant of the servant is lower. In the material world, it's lower. The spiritual, it's higher. If you're servant of God, you are better than the servant of God. You see? So it's a spiritual world. It's on an absolute platform. So it is different from the material world. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? Do you have any questions?
Yes, I have a comment, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
You said you should not, you should be equipoised, but it seems when Abhimanyu was killed in the war, Arjuna became devastated.
That's right.
And he wanted to take a revenge. He was so devastated that he was totally uncontrollable, and he almost killed 7 lakh of Kaurava Saina to kill I forget the name, Prabhuji. You remember the name? One person who was protected by Duryodhana. So
Jayadratha.
no,
Shalya.
no, not
Shalya.
huh?
Shalya. Shalya.
Not Shalya. I will read and tell you. But
Okay.
he was devastated. Probably is it because
Jayadratha. Jayadratha.
yeah, so this devastation occurred before no, already Krishna had given him the Gita, no, Bhagavad-gītā. Then why did he become so devastated?
Correct. Okay. That's a nice question. Thank you for asking that. So the point is,
And secondly, yeah, that I wanted to know.
okay. So nice question. So again, so it doesn't mean that you become a stone. Equipoise doesn't mean you become a stone. That's just point number one. It just means that, see, Arjuna continued the war. Without getting devastated, he did not give up the war. So that's the main point, right? And a Kshatriya is supposed to get angry.
No, that
He
is
gets angry.
that's a
It's normal.
total different thing.
Yes.
Equipoised. We are just on the word.
That's right.
This
And then,
explanation of
Kshatriya
equipoise.
killing the enemies is not a bad thing. Let's just not mix up multiple things here. A Kshatriya killing the enemies is not bad. So that's why
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
it's not a bad thing. Yeah. And anger and violence has a place. Okay, that's what Prabhupada also says. So this theory of non-violence is being misused. Actually, it's wrong. Prabhupada says it's wrong. It's completely wrong. Prabhupada says non-violence theory is completely wrong. Violence has a place. So for example, if there is a terrorist, and if he is supposed to be controlled, he must be controlled with violence only. So for example, if there's somebody who is doing mistake, he must be punished. For example, somebody who is doing some heinous crime, he must be punished violently. So violence has a place, and it must be used where it is supposed to be used as per the religious principles. So as far as Arjuna is concerned, his anger, he is using it in, in the service of the Lord. So that is actually justified violence. So another example is Hanuman, for example. Lord Ramachandra said, just go and see and talk to Sita Devi and come. But actually Hanuman went and killed the son of Ravana and came. And he not only killed the son of Ravana, he killed so many people, almost like he's killed some Akshauhini Sena. And he came back. And Lord Ramachandra was happy. He did not say, oh, why were you so violent? He didn't say that. So violence has a place, and in the service of the Lord, okay, when Lord wanted it. So this is, please try to understand. This entire thing, Krishna wanted it. Krishna wanted, the purpose of Krishna coming was that he wanted to eliminate all the burden of the earth. That was the purpose. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkruta. So it is not Arjuna who is killing, it is Krishna who is killing actually. That we have to understand. Whoever is getting killed here in this war, that is Krishna's killing, it's not Arjuna's killing. Arjuna is just an instrument in Krishna's hands. So being equipoised, it doesn't mean that you don't have any feelings or you don't cry at all. So we can see from Mahabharata, for example, Bhima becomes very angry on Dushasana. Right? He says that he becomes angry. He becomes angry on Duryodhana also. Doesn't mean that Bhima was a bad person. Right? He was a great devotee, Bhima. Right? So it's not wrong. So it is justified. It's justified as per the religious principles. And in the long run, we see at the end, towards the end, Arjuna, he remembers Bhagavad-gītā at the end of his life. And at that time, he completely renounces and he goes back to Godhead. So Kshatriyas, we should not try to analyze them.
No, he did not go back to Godhead in this life. He became a Bhakta Kanappa because he was still bound by material desires, because he asked for Pashupatra from Shiva, and that's why he was not the only reason, but he didn't overcome his material life, and he did not gain liberation in this life. He became Bhakta Kanappa, and later on he became got liberated, Prabhuji. That is what I've been reading of late. I can send it to you if you want.
That's fine, but that's not coming from the Shastras. That's not coming from Sattvika Shastra. So that is not a Sattvic conclusion. So that is coming from a Sthala Purana. The story of Kanappa is coming from Sthala Purana. We can't take it as a standard. So it is Srimad Bhagavatam is the Pramana. Okay, it's called Nirnita Shastra. So Nirnayaka Shastra. Nirnayaka Shastra means authoritative. We have to take that as the final authority. Even Mahabharata also, there is a slight difference between Mahabharata and Bhagavata. Mahabharata says they went to the heavenly planets. But Bhagavata says Pandavas went back to Godhead. Not even Pandavas. Kauravas also went back to Godhead. Everybody went back to Godhead. That's what Bhagavatam says. So we have to accept.
Yes, we read that. We read that in Bhagavatam.
Yes. So we have to accept Nirnayaka Shastra. That is the decisive scripture, Bhagavatam. So we should reject the secondary scriptures and Sthala Puranas. So they're just meant for giving faith for that temple at that point. That's it. It's not to be taken very seriously.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can I just add something to what this is going? Prabhu, now, like when she said that, why did he was not equal. See, the Pandavas were put through so much of atrocities. The kingdom was taken, the wife was insulted, and Arjuna did not react as a Kshatriya. He reacted like a cousin throughout. But even the war has some ethics. And how Abhimanyu was killed was beyond ethics. So he had all reasons to, sometimes when you say the volcano bursts out, he's a Kshatriya. How much can he control himself? This was the last straw.
One more thing to add here. It seems Abhimanyu was continuously being advised by his charioteer, who was a charioteer of Arjuna also, that you don't go and directly to Dronacharya. But without listening to the charioteer, he went and he himself invited trouble.
when the
That's
U
good.
chakra, when there is a U chakra made, a Kshatriya cannot retreat. You know, so many times,
he himself went into it.
who was wounded, and he took him back. Pradhamanyu was wounded, and when the charioteer took him back, he told him, "Why did you do that? I would have died there." But then that is the duty of the charioteer to see to the safety of the master. But being a Kshatriya son, Abhimanyu would have not listened to his charioteer because it was his duty to fight, and he knew how to get into it. I mean, he did not think that coming out then we can go on. There is no end for this. Krishna wanted it this way.
Yeah, that's right. Krishna wanted it this way, and not only that, it's not something to be criticizing. Actually, we should praise that.
Yeah, he was inexperienced. Maybe you can say that.
So tell me something in a cricket match. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu is saying something. I'm sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, continue. You're saying something? Okay, so I'm saying, let us say that in a cricket match, let's just take simple situation. Okay, let's say cricket match. Yes, Prabhu. You tell.
If Krishna, everything has gone with the dharma, then Kali Yuga, who would have followed dharma? Nobody would have followed it. So everything was with the Krishna's will. Dharma was broken on every point in Mahabharata, and Krishna shown nobody will follow in Kali Yuga. And he showed that they are not following dharma. Why you are worried about dharma? Dharma is me. So follow whatever I'm saying. That's all.
And the law. And the end all.
So that way Krishna only arranged everything. Dharma should be broken. Dharma, whatever is dharma is there, that is my what I say, that is dharma only.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Nice, very
Hare
interesting.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So nice point. So yeah, one interesting thing is Mahabharata, at every point of time, dharma was continuously being broken. But one thing is, it is not a point of criticism. It's a point of praising, actually. Abhimanyu is never criticized that he is actually praised that he's very valiant. He valiantly died. Everybody was proud of his death. Nobody lamented for Abhimanyu's death. Nobody said he was inexperienced. Actually, this is the first time I'm hearing this kind of analysis.
Okay.
Yes. It's actually very nice, because if you see in a cricket match, if you see somebody is going and making, let us say, quickly 50 runs with a very big enemy, like maybe Australia cricket match, somebody comes and maybe you can call him inexperienced or whatever. He just makes 50 runs in the let's say first 5 overs. So that's a big achievement, isn't it? So it's a quick achievement. So so that's how we should actually look at it. Okay.
Yeah, what has happened, but maybe he took a very big step for his stage of
No, that's right. I mean, as a Kshatriya, that is the only thing that you're supposed to do. You should be valiant. I mean, you can't look at what will happen to me, what will happen to my family. These kind of considerations are not meant for a Kshatriya. So,
but you could be diplomatic and, smart and strategic, and all those things are also there. No? As a Kshatriya, you can follow that also.
yeah, I don't know. It's like a time, place, and circumstance, but that is generally praised. That's a valiance of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is very much glorified in Mahabharata, because being such a young boy, he did such a wonderful task. He just took on so many people at the same time. So that is
he may have taken, but had he done this something, I mean,
yes, of course, he was very successful. Actually, he was very successful.
He would have been even more successful.
No, that
and he could have saved his life.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. See, this is all your argument is coming from the point of view to save one's life.
Yeah, save Arjuna and Pandavas from that, that trauma.
No. That's not at all. I mean, again, this is the thought of the same Arjuna, how he's thinking or thinking like that. This is a war field, and the war field, it is not about saving one's life or saving a trauma for others. That's not the place of. This is not anything else. This is a war field. Try to understand. Okay, war field. It's the only goal is like you have to either kill the other opponent or you have to die. That's it. That's the dharma which is given for the Kshatriya. That's what Abhimanyu did, isn't it?
There is in material world also story. You see, only in this Mahabharata, only Duryodhana was sure that I will win. Even Arjuna also said, then Krishna also told Arjuna If you die also, then also you will you will get moksha because you are dharma. So Krishna does not tell you 100% you are going to win actually. Only Duryodhana was confident I will win. And in material world also, if you see Rajput and in Rajasthan, big army they used to fight. They were knowing they will get defeated, but still they were coming out from the palace and forts, and they were fighting and got killed actually by opposing army actually. They're never thinking, okay, let's few are them surrendering also, few are not fighting also. That was like their own individual decision in material world. But if you see the ancient time, only Kshatriya used to fight, that's all, whether we win or this one. Okay, this is
Yeah.
very long
All right.
subject, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
This is very deep subject actually.
Okay, yeah, it's like a little deviating from the subject.
Yes,
that's
yes,
why
very-
sometimes
very
we
true.
say, let's not bring Mahabharata into Bhagavad-gītā. Bhagavad-gītā is a spiritual subject, so that's why we try to avoid it. But let's just conclude this. So one thing is like even Indian warriors also, whoever has fought valiantly, we give them a chakra, Paramveer chakra. All the great warriors, we award them. We remember them for their valiance and bravery. We don't criticize them. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This was not a criticism. This was just
Yes.
what I
Analysis.
read. Yeah,
War strategic analysis.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm nobody to criticize anybody.
All right. I'm not a war strategist, so I can't say whether there was a better strategy for Abhimanyu. Okay.
Yeah, I feel very, very sorry for Abhimanyu actually. Very, very
Yeah,
sad. The saddest thing that has happened.
That's right. That's right. But if that would not have happened, Arjuna would not have been irked. If Arjuna would have not been angry, then this war would not happen. So everything is Krishna's will, right? Everything is Krishna's.
Yeah.
Let's conclude. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, understood. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.